I love this episode. We have the return of Maud, and she wants to make a friend. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Roll the intro.
My little pony, what is friendship all about? My little pony, friendship is magic.
Greetings, my Brony and Pegasus friends. Welcome to Crimson Analysis. In this episode, I will be reviewing Season 7, Episode 4, Rock Solid Friendship. Before we start, I want to apologize for not getting a video up last week. We had some technical difficulties with the recording and the editing, and I had very little time, as I had to help Rainbow Dash create a storm, and Fluttershy asked me if I could stay with her during the storm. The episode opens with Maud getting her Doctorate? Master's? Diploma? I'm gonna go with Doctorate. And of course, the whole Pie family is there. I kinda wish we got to hear all of them speak at one point, but on the surface, it looks like this episode is going to be a review of what happened back in Season 4 when we first met Maud. Just to recap, in that episode, Pinkie tried to force the friendship between Maud and the rest of her friends, and she learned you can't force things like this. You just have to let it happen naturally. But there's a lot more to this episode when you really break it down, so let's get started. First of all, we're told that Maud is considering living in Ponyville or Ghastly Gorge. I mean, I can understand Pinkie getting excited. She loves her sister so much. She says it's a completely rock-based decision. But later on we learn she's also considering Ponyville because she wants a friend, other than her pet rock, Boulder. She says it's not hard for her to make friends, but it is hard for her to find some pony that actually understands her. This gives us lots of insight into Maud. She's different, and she knows she's different. She just wants to find someone to accept that about her. And because of this difference, she ends up feeling isolated or left out. And then we run into Starlight, literally. And we're told that they actually met previously. Wait a minute, they met previously?
Psst. Do you know a lot about rocks?
Yes.
Have you ever come across some kind of super powerful stone that can store the cutie mark magic of, I don't know, an entire village?
Yep. In the big cave.
Okay, so are you telling me that's Maud's fault? Anyways, Pinkie sees this as a great opportunity to get Maud a friend. Poor Starlight. She can just never get away from her past. So, enter Pinkie mode. The problem is, Pinkie makes friends in a very different way than everyone else. For Pinkie, it's just meet someone new, instant friends. But usually, this kind of thing takes time, which she has trouble understanding. She starts out on the right track, telling Maud to go help Starlight with her errands. Maud and Starlight start spending some time together, doing stuff each other likes. For example, Starlight likes kites.
The trick with an SLK is not to make the spars too heavy, but if they're too light, you got no ballast, and then good luck tacking against the AOI.
Okay, Starlight really likes kites. And Maud discovers she kinda likes it too. We have some great development here for Maud. We understand exactly how she's feeling and why she likes rocks so much, and it draws a direct parallel with how Starlight feels. The reason why Maud likes rocks so much is because they won't judge her based on how different she is. The parallel with Starlight is that she's always afraid the ponies will judge her based on her past. Wow, that's beautiful. As this friendship is forming between Starlight and Maud, Pinkie unfortunately keeps getting in the way. She tries to help the process along in the only way she knows how, to the point of staging a cave-in to force them to be trapped together. Okay, Pinkie, that's taking it way too far. Maud, why are you even wearing those? They're not doing anything. And Pinkie ends up pushing too hard and actually pushes her sister away. This really speaks to the character of Maud and how much she loves her sister. She'd rather live alone than hurt her sister's feelings. And it takes the brutal truth from Starlight for Pinkie to understand.
But you kinda, sorta, got in the way. You're right, too harsh. Let's go with, you ruined everything all the time? That's worse.
You can tell Starlight really doesn't want to hurt Pinky's feelings, but I believe Pinky had to hear this. A lot of Season 2 callbacks here. The gorge, the eels. Pinky tells Maud that she understands what she was doing wrong, and that she will help by staying out of the way. Maud accepts Pinky's apology, and decides to live in Ponyville. Well, adjacent to Ponyville. And true to her word, Pinky stays out of the way. Of course, this will take some getting used to for her. There are just a few more points I want to talk about before I end. First off, Pinky's faces. She makes a bunch of awesome faces in this episode. Secondly, the callbacks in this episode. We have Rarity and Spike in the cave, a reference to the Gauntlet of Fire, as well as the Gorge and the Eels, a reference to May the Best Pet Win, and even Tank makes an appearance. And of course, I have to mention everyone's favorite pony, Derpy. And look at that face, that's adorable. She's hit with pizza and she doesn't care, she gets free pizza. But then we got to see Maud smile a few times. We also hear Countess Coloratura.
This will surely make my gown stand out at Countess Coloratura's album release party.
I hope that's foreshadowing. I'd love to see her in another episode. What's interesting is that Rarity says Countess Coloratura. I know a lot of us thought she was going to try and rebrand herself, get her away from that name. But I started thinking, Countess Coloratura is what she's known as. She's branded herself with that name. If you think about it, a lot of celebrities, even after they're married, they will keep their original name because that's what people know them as. In the case of Countess Coloratura, that is who she's known as. That is her brand. So it makes sense that she would keep the name. She can rebrand herself as a different type of pony and have a different message, but her name can stay the same. Final thoughts? I love this episode. This is my favorite episode of Season 7 so far. But I do have to say, I'm not a Maud lover. I like her a lot, but I wouldn't go so far as to say love her. Although, that shock in Rainbow Rocks was awesome.
Boulder was hungry.
This episode had a very good message that you can't force friendship. Pinky may have already learned this earlier, but sometimes you have to learn things more than once before they stick. Some people just have to learn the hard way. I do wish we could have heard Pinky's family speak. I'll reiterate though, this was a great episode. I loved it. I give this episode an 8.9 out of 10. Well, that's all for this episode of Crimson Analysis. I'm Crimson Shield. Thanks for watching.
True, true